Okay, did any of you solve the problem of performance tasks in the 3 minutes that I allotted you to talk with your neighbor? Or did you have any other good ideas or thoughts to share with the group about kind of possible ways to start to eat the elephant, maybe one bite at a time? Yeah, please. Thank you.
Some of the things we said is it's really important for all grade levels to be aware of what will be expected at each grade level. Because it's really easy to say, oh my gosh, our fourth graders are not going to be ready. Well, they can be ready. We just have to have a plan in place so this starts in first grade.
Right, for sure.
So they're prepared by fourth grade. So involving everybody, not just specific older grade levels.
Yeah, right. So getting everybody kind of on the same page.
And at the younger
Knowing
grades,
the expectations.
Yeah.
it could be as simple as watching a video and discussing what the important
Yeah,
facts are.
yeah,
You know, and getting them used to thinking about what is important in this short little video or whatever. Or read something, what's important that you learn.
right, right, great. So incorporating some of that multimedia stuff in as early as grades as possible so that they get used to that. And even if it is where they're just talking about it at first and not necessarily writing it down, we'll at least start that ball rolling. Good. Yes?
Kind of going with that, we talked about starting at kindergarten, even if it's just oral language, because oral language development is so important.
Oh, for sure.
Into writing and reading. Start at kindergarten, supporting their answers with what I call a because clapper. So
What's a because clapper?
Yeah.
Teach us, please.
Oh, well, it's for co-brain teaching.
Okay.
If you learn that, but it's like whatever you say, even if it's in the conversation, you have to support it with a because. So if you say, if you're reading a story and you say, well, the girl's sad, you have to go because, and then they have to give a reasoning.
Ah, okay. Very interesting. I didn't know that.
Just like kinesthetic type thing, you remember
Yeah.
to say because and then support.
Yeah.
So that can be really easily done in kindergarten all the way up, so they're knowing to draw those evidence from text so that you're ready, hopefully at a deeper level to get support.
Right.
Yeah, we did talk about making sure we're building those skills from kindergarten.
From the ground up. Yeah.
And then from 4th on up to 8 as we go on about that. And then we talked about making sure that within the classrooms that we're using more text-to-text comparisons.
Yes.
Like across genres. You might find a common theme in narrative and informational, and finding what they have common. It's not always informational, but informational.
Yeah.
It could be narrative, informational. And then obviously work on building that stamina in writing and reading, which means, you know what, they just have to write for 40 minutes or something and just keep them going with something.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
Right. And maybe not start at 40, right? Like find what that number is and start.
Stamina, moving your muscle memory.
Yes. Yeah. That's good. And I'll even press that. So the first point you made about the starting at kindergarten and including evidence, and obviously you come from a place of ELA, so that's going to be your example. But that's what they're being called to do in math too. So that's kind of that idea of whatever subject they're learning, math, science, social studies, English, that when they are providing an answer, that they're also providing evidence or support or whatever you happen to call it within your content area, that they're proving what they are saying with evidence. So that's important too. Good. And then it was text-to-text comparisons. That was what you said, and across genres. Good. Okay, so what we're going to do next, and Mark, if you would help me with this real quick, is generally we're pretty good at the ISD of providing you too many resources for you to actually look at in the time that you have in your life. And we find that, and so then you just give up and don't look at any of them. And so what we wanted to do for the next part of our conversation is just actually to provide one link for each content area, to just spend some time to think about, again, is there anything within this link that might help with the conversations that we're having about how to incorporate these in our classrooms? And I know for math in particular, what I get asked all the time is, I don't know how to do a performance task, or if you call it project-based learning, or you call it problem-based learning, whatever fancy word you want to call it. I don't know how to do that in my class and still make sure they know how to multiply. So how do I balance that? And I've never had a really great answer for that. And so the other day I was looking, I don't know, someone probably emailed me and wanted to know something about scope and sequence. And I came across this link. And And I thought that this was a great idea. I'm not saying this is a solution, but it was, for the first time for me, it was something that really helped me in my mind kind of conceptualize, oh, this is maybe how you could do it. And so, and I'll let the groups kind of take a look at these, how they want to. But what I like about it is that they put a little scope and sequence up there where you can still see the content. This is where they're going to learn how to multiply or how to whatever, add or fractions or whatever it is you're doing. But then they just put in there in this case it's just 3 projects where you would take the content from those 3 preceding units or the 2 preceding units, and that's when you would put a project in. So it's not like you have to feel like every single day you have to do this, but at certain benchmark points in the year, you find a way to say, okay, I just have to gut it out for the next 3 days. And your kids are probably saying the same thing. And then you all become better for it in the end. But if you scroll down even a little bit further, why I think this isn't kind of cool is that they've actually linked in so this is a problem-based kind of unit. So if we're building up to this idea of having kids do these tasks, you don't just do, in math world, you don't just do worksheets every day and then slam them in the face with this project. They're just not going to be able to do that. So something about even day-to-day instruction has to be building that stamina. And so how does that happen? So this links different deeper tasks that still get at I got to learn multiplication, but in a more task-oriented way than a typical computational-based worksheet. So anyway, so that's the kind of links, and we have one in there for math, for science, for social studies, and for English. And they're different, so just to give you a different sense of what this could look like. So we want to give you a little bit of time to hop into these. Like this one, I think the earliest grade is 4th, but even if your grade level is not represented, you could still hop into 4th and just kind of see how they've organized it to maybe get a sense of what that looks like. But you could also, even if you're sitting at the math table, no one will call you out if you decide to look at the ELA link or the social studies link or the science link, just to see what different ideas are contained within there too. Okay? So again, I'm going to give you I'll give you 10 minutes just to dive into these links and talk about them and look at them and see what they've got, and then we'll just kind of bring you guys back. Because the next section of time that you have is to think about how you might build some sort of performance-y task within your class. Okay? So just give you some time to explore. They're on the Google Doc if you can find your way back to the Google Doc. The math ones are on a website